What are you making?
I'm mixing up a stew to give corporate a different view. Have a taste. Welcome to the Corporate Kitchen. I'm your host, Tiger, and today on the menu is
Vacations. This is going to be another happy episode, something that is good to talk about. I mean, vacations are exciting. We should be talking about this. If you're currently not taking vacations, you really, really should. At the end of the day, we want you striving. You cannot be your best self if you're not giving yourself self-care. Part of that process is taking time away from the business to focus on yourself. So let's dive a little bit deeper into vacations. According to the Merriam-Webster, the definition of a vacation as a noun is 1. A period spent away from home or business in travel or recreation. 2. A scheduled period during which activity as a court or school is suspended. 2B. A period of exemption from work granted to an employee. 3. A respite or a time of respite from something. 4. An act or an instance of vacationing. When you hear that, a lot of people will go to 2B, a period of exemption from work granted to an employee. When people think of vacation, you think of vacation from work naturally, and that's okay. But the actual definition that we're going to use is 1. A period spent away from home or business in travel or recreation. The key words there are home or business. You don't always have to take vacations from work. Parents and people that are caregivers taking care of siblings, children, parents, if you have to take care of someone or something else in your household, you will greatly understand the ideology of wanting to take a vacation from home. It's not just work that requires a lot of energy, a lot of input, a lot of exertion from your body that requires respite. It's also all the stuff that you do at home as well. You are more than just who your badge says you are. You are more than just an employee ID number. You're a totally another 100% different person outside of the office. You are someone else, and you need a break from that as well. That's why the first key takeaway here is it's work or home. Vacationing is from work or home. You can do either. Mind you, because of the way that life's set up and the way that our work weeks are set up, we do have to find a balance. In order to strive and thrive, we do need to ensure that both are balanced well. So if you have to take a vacation, you're probably looking into using vacation days. But not all companies require a 5-day work week. There are a lot of companies that work just weekends, or they have a weekend shift, or they work 4 days out of the week, or they work 3 days out of the week. Regardless, you could make it work you can make it work so that you're taking a vacation during the days that you don't normally work. And that will give you a break from home. If you are in a company that gives you vacation and you have a significant amount of vacation, there is no reason you should not be taking it. You have to take that vacation, whether it's on an accrual basis, whether it's paid out to you for the whole year at the very beginning of the year and it's use it or lose it. If you're a company at unlimited vacations, you need to take your vacation. It is a period spent away. How long is a period? You determine it. You make the decision of how much time you need to spend away. And per the definition, in travel or recreation. So what does that mean? You have to do something. I know people talk about staycations and just the idea of not going anywhere and finding respite at home, but no, that's not a true vacation. By definition, it's in travel or recreation. You got to go do something. If you stay at home, a staycation, you're not following the definition of a vacation because although you're away from business, you're still home. And I can hear you say right now, well, you said or. Yes, we did say or. Absolutely correct. get out the house, right? Take the vacation away from ideally both, right? If you're taking the day off work and then you're home, yeah, you're away from work, but did you really go on vacation? You have to ask yourself that. Did you really go on vacation? It's very synonymous to an oven in multiple ways. The first thing I want you to think about in terms of an oven is that you set and go away. You don't set the oven, put something in there, let's say French fries, and then sit at the oven and wait the 30 to 45 minutes it takes to make them. If you do, you might want to go see some help. But everyone else, we don't just sit in the oven and wait. We spend time doing other stuff. The oven acts as the medium of time. That's all it is. When we talk about the period of time spent away from home or business, it is determined by you when you schedule or plan the travel or recreation activity that you're going to do. Just like with the oven, you're going to plan how much time the meal is going to spend in the oven. And while it's in the oven, you do something. It could be TV, it can be a recreational activity, it could be reading a book, but you're doing something and you're stepping away from what's there because it's going to continue on, just like work. Work is going to continue on. That oven is just going to work for you. That's the whole purpose of it, for you to set it and then continue on whatever you were going to do. Create more dishes, create some side dishes, watch TV, whatever you're going to do. Obviously, don't leave the house if you're running the oven. Stay close to it. But the point is, it acts as the catalyst to hold a period of time that you are away from actively making whatever that dish is. If you're making a lasagna, you go to put it in the oven, it goes. You can't actively do anything. So that amount of time that it takes to finish in the oven, you have, and you can do as you please with it. It's critical that we truly understand that we can't shy away from vacations. This is a good thing. This is how you thrive. You want to take your vacations. You want to use your oven. Use your vacations just like you use your oven. The second point that we want to get into, and the second key takeaway, and this is where the oven analogy is going to make a lot more sense, a lot more directly correlated. Pre-work is required for your vacations. Pre-work is required. When we think about the oven for a second, we have to do something before we put the food in the oven. Even if it's just a pre-made meal, you can't put that material normally right on the oven rack and throw it in there. There's some level of pre-work that's required. The greater the pre-work, usually the greater the outcome. So if you're just doing a reheatable pre-made dish, that's not going to taste as good as the homemade, time and effort put into it lasagna. All the pre-work that you did to make a lasagna, by the time you get it in the oven, you're just letting it do its thing, and it's going to come out delicious. Delicious. I know some of you can probably cook a very mean lasagna, and for those of you that can't, well, we'll mix it up and say macaroni and cheese. Something like that you know requires a good amount of pre-work. You put it in the oven and let it do its thing. That is the same thing for your vacations. The more pre-work you do on your vacations, the more it's going to do its thing when you actually go to do it. Simple as that. You don't know the ins and out on how an oven works, just like you don't know the ins and out of everything that goes on in vacation. But you do the pre-work of the planning up front to say, I'm going to leave my house. I'm going to travel. I'm going to make sure that my pets are taken care of, or my kids are taken care of, or my parents are taken care of, or if you don't have anyone, you're taken care of, and you have your passport, you have your documentation, you do everything that you need to do so that when you get to the destination, you don't work the destination works you. Just like you do the pre-work for the oven, but then the oven just does its thing. You put the food in there and the oven does its thing and takes care of the rest. If you do your pre-work for your vacations will work itself for you. That is the point that you really want to get to in your vacations, where you're very intentional about them. You're actively planning them and you let the vacation work for you. One of the most stressful trips that people can take as a family is going to Disney World. It's a really good example of a trip that is meant to pass as a vacation, but for the parents, they get through it and they're like, that's wasn't a vacation. We all know those types of trips where the intention is for it to be a travel inclusive vacation. Then when you finish it, you're saying, "Oh, that wasn't a vacation. I wasn't on vacation. I worked the whole thing." If you're in that mindset or you're in that state of mind, then it wasn't a vacation. You didn't leave home. And see, and that's the kicker. That's why the definition is home or business. If you find yourself in a position where whatever caregiver requirements you have at the headquarters, at the base, are still being done, it may not feel like a vacation. And that's okay, because we all make sacrifices sometimes. Life is about sacrifices, positives and negatives, pros and cons. And sometimes we have those trips where it's not for us and it's not our vacation. It's the children's vacation or the parents' vacations or the friends' vacation. And you're just there to support them. They don't know that you're their oven. Right? Let me say that again, especially children. Children don't know that you're their oven. They just show up sometimes kicking and screaming if you're on a flight, and the vacation works itself. You're that vacation. You're there taking care of everything. You're that vacation and you're working it to make sure they have the best time possible. And for them, it's a vacation. For you, it's not. So now you have to be even more intentional about creating a space in which you're away from home. Because you're already away from work. We're not worried about business. You're already away from business. You now have to separate yourself from home in travel or recreation. And the planning required to do that, to make sure your children are taken care of, pets are taken care of, parents, whoever else you need, is done. And to the level that satisfies you so that you're at ease and the vacation can work for you. If you're listening and you don't have any caregiver responsibilities and it's just you, your pre-work is a lot lower than someone married with children and possibly taking care of a parent. Remember that. If you are a low level of pre-work, you have less excuses to take a vacation than those people that make excuses because of all the stuff that they have to check off before they can take a vacation. Those of you that are early in your careers with aspirations of eventually getting married and starting a family, remember that. This is your time to get out. Take that vacation. Do the pre-work, and guess what? It's not a lot. For you, it's not a lot. Your pre-work versus my pre-work, if you're not married and you don't have children, you don't have more pre-work than I do. It's not a lot. Do your little bit of research, figure out what you enjoy doing and where you can do that at that's not at home, and go. Go have that period away so that you can be your best self. Everything in life needs a refresh, a recharge, not a reset, a recharge. Can't fully reset the button. The wheel's already spinning. So the best thing that we can do is take a stop, start the wheel again, in the oven. Best thing that you can do, stop the oven. And if it's not done, if the dish is not done, restart it again, right? If you go to cook a dish and you open it and you open the oven door, you look, you test to see if it's ready to come out. No, hasn't fully refreshed yet, hasn't fully cooked to where it needed to be. What do? You leave it back in there. You'll know the same thing on vacation. And of course, we're all going to feel like vacation's too short. But let me tell you something. There is a such thing as vacation being too long. So when you're doing your pre-work, don't plan for too long of a vacation. That's not a takeaway, but that's just a known fact. There is a such thing as being on vacation for too long. I would say a solid extended weekend, 4-day weekend to a week and a half is probably the sweet spot for a vacation. It's also dependent on your specific home situation and work situation. If you work weekends and you're on a shift that you work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, obviously a Monday to Thursday vacation would be perfect for you. If you work 5 days a week in a standard 9 to 5, maybe it's an extended weekend where you're Thursday to Monday. If you work 3 or 4 days a week, maybe you just take one of those weeks off and make it, potentially a 10-day vacation. Everyone's situation is different, so you can't compare someone else's pre-work to yours. If we're talking about an oven, for example, and we're going to make mac and cheese, everyone has different mac and cheese recipes and the way that they make mac and cheese. At the end of the day, if we're talking about baked mac and cheese, we're all still going to put it in the oven, and we're all generally going to have a taste on the same spectrum. Hopefully it's mac and cheese, right? If we're talking baked mac and cheese, I hope we're on the baked mac and cheese spectrum for taste. But the point is, the pre-work that's done is going to be different. You're going to use different seasonings than me. Your family might use different seasonings from you. So that pre-work looks a little bit different because the household is a little bit different. The work situation is a little bit different. The process is the same. Do the pre-work, throw it in the oven, let the oven do the work, and now you have your baked mac and cheese. Do the pre-work for vacation, go on vacation, the vacation's going to take care of you, and then you come back refreshed, cooked, ready to do whatever you do when you come back, whether that's, home or business. The point is, and again, the key takeaway is pre-work is required. A staycation is not a vacation. It's a nice word. It sounds good. It's not a vacation. You don't pre-work for a staycation. You just don't get out of bed. Now, not a lot of planning goes in the head for that. And I know that there is an intention to not do a lot of work, not put in a lot of mental effort for a vacation, and that's what makes it a vacation. Got it, but that's when you get there. Think about the oven again. If you are making the baked macaroni and cheese, can you just throw it in the oven? No, you got to turn the oven on. You actually have to turn the oven on and preheat the oven. And the oven's going to need time to get there. Just like you're going to need time to get there. What's there? There's a way. Definition: a period spent away. When the oven is turned on, it preheats. Just like when you're going on vacation, your preheating is getting away. Whatever. There's no, when you preheat an oven, the oven doesn't give you a time that it takes to preheat. Just like when you're getting away, no one's giving you a timeline and a time frame to go away. You just go away. And you get away from home or business to wherever you're going to travel to or the recreational activity, and then it does the work for you. oven. When it's done preheating, you put in the baked macaroni and cheese, and the oven does the work for you for a period of time. Then when it's over, boom, done. So when you think about this and you're really considering whether or not you should take a vacation, remember that you do have to do pre-work. It's going to take some work. And then our third takeaway, I want you to remember this about vacations too. There's a cost for not taking vacation. And I think people forget that. There is a cost associated to not taking vacations. When people think of vacations, naturally, it's going to cost me something. When I'm making the baked macaroni and cheese, in order to do that, I have to buy all those ingredients. And if I'm going to make it really good, if I'm going to take the time to make it really good, we're not buying Velveeta. We're going to buy the good cheese and I'm going to shred it. I'm going to buy the good macaroni, the good brand, and cook with that. We will make a brie with some good heavy cream. We'll get all the seasonings that we need. It costs a little bit of money to do that. Now, what's the cost of not doing that at all? What's the cost of not bringing the baked macaroni and cheese to Thanksgiving? You'll get a lot of got a lot of looks, a lot of confusion. That's a staple of Thanksgiving. Same thing with your vacation. Not doing it comes at a cost. The two obvious ones. Number one, and you'll hear this from your coworkers, giving back money to the company is a huge no-no. And if you're at a company that gives you the year's worth of vacation for the year, January 1st, and you don't use it all, so you lose it and it resets, whatever you lost is free money back to the company. Do you work for free? No, you don't. So the benefits that they give you, we had a conversation on this. Benefits are meant to be used. Go use them. Do not give money back to the company. And don't give me this, it's a high stress area, or if I take vacation, they're going to lay me off. They will lay you off while they're on vacation. Remember that. You are an employee ID. So in order to get yourself thriving, you got to do what you need to do. Also, if you are in your early career, you have to set this precedence early. You need to set this precedence that you will take vacations. I think a lot of people make the mistake of just coming in fresh out of college, working their tail off, and setting this standard that you work 60-hour weeks and you never take a vacation. So the first time you go to take the vacation, people are going to be like, oh, you're stepping away from the office for a period of time? Why on earth would you do that? And for you, you're like, oh, I'm on the verge of burning out. I need the refresher. But for them, they don't know any better. So you have to kind of set that precedence early, create that balance and that expectation of, no, you work your tail off and then you go enjoy yourself for a minute so that you can come back and work your tail off again. But you will take the time to enjoy yourself. The company will easily identify those people that don't take their vacation. And does that mean that they will give you less? No, they'll still give you the same, but they don't care because they know they're going to get their money back. But two, they won't encourage you to take your vacation. If you are giving that money back to the company and you're not taking the vacation, they're not going to tell you, oh, hey, employee A, you were given 4 weeks of vacation this year and you used none. You should really use your 4 weeks before the year's over so that you don't lose it. They don't care about that. They're going to be like, oh, okay, thanks for the free money. Here's your new 4 weeks and we'll just take what we didn't have to spend for you on this year. Thanks for that. It's going to help all the shareholders, but not you. Don't give back money. The second part of it too, in terms of not taking vacation comes at a cost, is it's a cost to your health. It's a cost to your body and your mind. You are human. You only have so far you can push yourself physically and mentally. Once you pass a certain age, when sports, you use this term, the prime. You have prime years where you're at the peak of physical and mental fitness. Once you pass that prime, you're on a deterioration path. At some point, your body's like, okay, we're done growing. So what's the opposite of growing? Let's start that and slow this train down. So the cost of not taking a vacation is speeding up that train, that slowing down train. If you're not going to take care of your body and mind, your body will let you know when it's time to take a vacation. There's so many friends, and we'll talk about this at the table, but I have so many friends that I tell, you need to give your body a break before your body tells you it needs a break. I think many people forget that, and I understand there are many unique situations that make taking vacations difficult. There are many situations that people just don't feel comfortable taking a vacation. But if you don't give your body a break and tell your body and set that precedence with your body that you will give it a break, it's going to give you a break. And you're not going to like it at all. And it's not going to be required. And guess what? Your body would have done all the pre-work and you had no idea. All the pre-work required, it would have done. And guess what? You won't have to worry about anything because your body will just operate. And again, just like with vacation, your body will take a vacation and you're just going to have to deal with it. And depending on the circumstances, it could be a light thing to get over, or it can be a serious problem. If you don't take your vacation and your body has to tell you to take one, it can be a serious problem. So make sure you're taking care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Not taking a vacation comes at a cost. Physically and financially. We don't give that money back. It's like with going back to the oven again. Let's say if you don't clean your oven, it could get smoky the next time you want to use it. That is a pain to deal with. All your smoke detectors go off. You could possibly start a fire depending on what it's in there. Next time you go to cook something, it's not going to be as good. You may have some burnt pieces on there. Also, if you're not utilizing your oven, how are you nourishing yourself? Right? You can say, oh, I'm using the stove all the time. Well, that's good. I'm using the grill all the time. That's good too. And those are options. But you're doing that every single day? Are we truly taking care of ourselves every single day like that? Because the oven's not meant to be used every day, just like a vacation's not meant to be done every single day. It's just time here and there. If you're not using an oven at least once a year, I'm very curious, what do you eat in holidays? If you're not using the oven, you're just getting takeout? Or my parents are making my food, or my children are making my food. Those are fair games too, but they should probably be using an oven. Oven's going to get used. We just don't leave the appliance there. When you buy a house, you don't leave it without an oven. It's going to have an oven. It is meant to be there because it serves its purpose and it does work for you, just as a vacation will do for you. And again, I said this is a happy episode. We want you to be thriving. We want you happy. And the best way that you can do that sometimes is to give yourself a break. Give yourself that vacation. So as we wrap up, remember the 3 takeaways. Number 1, the definition is really important because the definition points to us that it's away from home or business in travel or recreation, but it's home or work. You can leverage one, the other, or both. It's not just about doing a work vacation. Sometimes you need a vacation from home. And again, the parents listening to this, they absolutely know this. So that if you are planning a honeymooning trip or an anniversary trip, that this is your signal. Go do it. Go do it and enjoy yourself. See if the in-laws can watch the kids for a day or two. It's not a long period of time. But for takeaway number 2, and part of the continuation of that thought is pre-work's required. You got to do the pre-work. None of this happens just on a whim. If you have the funds for all of this to happen on the whim and you're one of those types of people, you can make a call and be on a private jet tomorrow. I'm surprised you're listening to this podcast, so I want to thank you for that, but you're not the intended audience. Everyone else, we got work to do. We have to set the stage. We got to preheat the oven to make it work for us. Do the work. And third, not taking a vacation comes at a cost. Financially, you could be giving money back to the company. Personally, you can be hurting your body and soul more than what it's already going through. That stress to yourself needs to be addressed with a lot more urgency than the worry about taking 2 days off work. Take care of yourself. We want you in a thriving state. And the Corporate Kitchen is here with tips and trips to get you there. And with that, we'll turn off this stove, take off the thinking apron, and let's just say the dishes will get done later. This topic wasn't a big mess, but if we learned something today, then we know there's a little cleaning up to do. I do want to talk this topic more, maybe trade stories about this soon, like this Thursday soon. I hope to see you there. Thanks for being in the Corporate Kitchen today. I'm your host, Tiger. Until next time.